Now at 5 and streaming on crossroadstoday.com, warming centers are open in Victoria. We'll show you where they are and what is being provided. Plus, Congress formally certifies Republican Donald Trump's election, officially electing him to office. And details on upgrades approved by Victoria County Commissioners for the county jail that will help keep the facility in compliance.
Well, it's going to be a clear, cold night. We have freeze warnings up. In fact, by tomorrow morning, we could see 28 degrees. So, yeah, it's time to find some shelter from the ice, or rather the cold weather. We'll have all that coming up in just a moment.
As President Biden visits New Orleans, the FBI reveals more on how the man responsible for the New Year's Day attack planned out his assault. You're watching 25 News now at 5. Good afternoon and thank you for being with us. I'm Shawna Currie. Warming shelters are open for anyone needing a warm place to stay for the night. Our Lady of Sorrows Church, First United Methodist Church, and the Salvation Army opened their doors this evening. They'll have sleeping cots ready along with sack lunches, snacks, water, and pillows and blankets to give out. They started to set up the cots Friday evening and had everything ready to go Sunday evening to open. The Salvation Army Warming Center is open to men only. The First United Methodist Church and Our Lady of Sorrows is open to anyone.
We do ask that if you know of anybody needing a nice meal, a good meal, a breakfast, to send them our way, to send them to Our Lady of Sorrows. Our home is open. We're ready to receive anybody that needs shelter or needs food.
The shelters are open from 5 p.m. to 8 a.m. through Saturday. Transportation to and from the centers is also available at Christ's Kitchen. Last night when the shelters opened, a total of 28 people took shelter, with more stopping by for a hot meal, blankets, and other cold weather items. And with the coldest air of the season in the Crossroads, more people are excited to get out of the chill, especially the homeless. Kim Pickens with the Humility Project and the Homeless Coalition of the Golden Crescent says volunteers are still needed to help in a variety of ways with those warming centers. Some people wanting to head to the shelter might also have questions before they go.
Stay outside and you have a pet and you want to, and that pet is your companion. We do have kennels that are available for people to kennel their pets and keep them with them. We allow, you to bring your backpack in, like you stay outside and you have a pet and you want to, and that pet is your companion. We do have kennels that are available for people to kennel their pets and keep them with them. We allow, you to bring your backpack in, like, if you have personal items, you can bring those in.
Pickens says there will be security at each center. Meals and showers will also be available. The shelter locations again are the Salvation Army Warming Center, open to men only, the First United Methodist Church, and Our Lady of Sorrows. Those two churches are open to anyone. Well, let's take a first look at your forecast to see just how cold we're expecting it to get tonight with First Warn Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Mac Perez. And Mac, it was chilly with the sun out this afternoon, but once that sun goes down, we're really going to feel the cold, is what I understand.
We really are. In fact, we're getting down to below freezing tonight, and it's a big issue for pretty much everybody because while we touched 34 this morning, tomorrow morning we'll be at 28. So that is a hard freeze, and that's going to go all the way down into the Brownsville area because we, as they are in this dry air, it's going to lose all of its heat tonight and the temperature will plummet. We'll talk about how long this cold snap's going to last coming up in just a few minutes. Stay tuned. Back to you, Shawna.
Well, Victoria County is hosting a presentation on how to prepare for a winter storm. It is scheduled for Thursday, January 16th at 5 p.m. Public Health Emergency Coordinator Ralph Montez will lead the class on how winter storms impact public health and how you can stay safe. All you have to do is show up at the Dr. Patty Dodson Public Health Center. A fire at a storage facility in Sweet Home is now out. Around noon today, firefighters responded to the Sweet Home storage and RV on FM 318 in Sweet Home. The Yoakum Volunteer Fire Department also responded. No word on the extent of the damage or any injuries. The cause of the fire is under investigation. Well, Donald Trump has officially won the 2024 election. The results certified by Congress today. It comes 4 years after hundreds of Trump supporters attacked the Capitol on January 6th. Trump has vowed to pardon some of his supporters who were charged for their actions that day. ABC's Perry Russum reports from Washington.
The outcome of the 2024 presidential election now official. Donald Trump declared the winner today. The votes counted, the results certified before a joint session of Congress.
Donald J. Trump of the state of Florida has received 312 votes. Kamala D. Harris of the state of California has received 226 votes.
Trump's opponent in the race, Vice President Kamala Harris, presiding over the constitutional formality.
Today, I did what I have done my entire career, performing my constitutional duties to ensure that the people of America, the voters of America, will have their votes counted.
The results certified in the same building attacked by Trump supporters 4 years ago. On January 6, 2021, Trump urged his supporters to march to the Capitol, telling his then Vice President Mike Pence to reject the results of the 2020 election that President Biden had won. Republican lawmakers today with no plans to mark the anniversary.
This is a great day for the country. We're going to certify the election of Donald J. Trump as the 47th president. That's our focus today.
The Department of Justice says more than 1,200 people have either pleaded guilty or were found guilty at trial for charges tied to the attack. Trump has promised to pardon some, calling them political prisoners. Today, Enrique Tarrio, the former leader of the Proud Boys, is asking Trump for a full pardon. He was sentenced to 22 years in prison for his role in the attack.
Pardoning the criminals who assaulted police officers and tried to halt the democratic process would be a dangerous endorsement of political violence.
In a letter to Trump, Tarrio's lawyer says his client is nothing more than a proud American who believes in true conservative values. Prosecutors say he helped rally his members ahead of January 6th to stop the transfer of power. Perry Russum, ABC News, Washington.
Some city departments in Cuero may see interruptions to the after-hours answering system in the next week. The city is updating its phone system on Thursday after 6:30 p.m. and Friday starting at noon. The numbers to contact for the water and the electric departments are there on your screen. You can also get them on our website, crossroadstoday.com. The Victoria County Jail's 40-year-old intercom system is finally getting a much-needed upgrade. The outdated system has been failing, making it harder for inmates to communicate with control officers and for the jail to stay in compliance with standards. Today, Commissioner's Court approved $364,000 to completely overhaul the control system, which includes upgrades to the electronic doors and the intercom system. About $150,000 of that funding will come from the jail commissary. Officials say this upgrade is essential to meet compliance and improve overall safety. The Victoria City Council meets Tuesday at 5 p.m. Council members will review plans to help the Texas Parks and Wildlife Department improve the trail at Ted B. Reed Park. The Communications and Public Affairs Department and the Victoria Public Library will also give an annual report highlighting each respective department's accomplishments, goals, and metrics. The city of Yoakum is holding a special executive session to discuss the future of the city manager role, which is currently held by Michael Mitchell. The agenda includes talks on the appointment, duties, or potential dismissal of the city manager, though details are unclear. The position has seen turnover in recent years, with Mitchell being the latest hire in July 2024, following the short-term departures of Kevin Coleman and William Lynn. Texas has a housing affordability crisis. State lawmakers may tackle it in 2025. To find out how, read the full Texas Tribune article on our website, crossroadstoday.com. The 988 suicide hotline in Texas is under pressure. A funding and workforce shortfall means only 85% of calls are handled in-state, leading to thousands of dropped calls monthly. A bill in the upcoming legislative session proposes a phone bill surcharge to fund the hotline, expand services, and ensure calls are answered promptly. Advocates warn that without new resources, Texans in crisis may face longer delays and greater risks. And this brings us to our viewer poll today. What is the most important priority for improving the 988 suicide hotline in Texas? Is it increased funding for more staff? Is it to expand text and chat services, improve in-state call answer rates, or raise public awareness about the hotline? We want to hear from you. Visit crossroadstoday.com/vote to take part. And 67% of you who have voted so far feel that just raising awareness of the hotline, and the fact that it's out there and how to utilize it is the most important priority. So continue voting, and we'll have the latest coming up on 25 News Now at 6. President Biden and First Lady Jill Biden are attending an interfaith prayer service in New Orleans today to mourn the victims of the New Year's Day truck attack. Investigators, meanwhile, are learning more about what the suspect did in the hours and months before the attack. ABC's Christiane Cordero has the latest from New Orleans.
Today, the president and first lady visit a community in grief on the first of a 14-day mourning period in Louisiana, one for each person killed in the New Year's Day attack on Bourbon Street. The victims range from 18 to 63 years old and include mothers, sons, and brothers.
Right now, I'm lost for words, really. This is tragic, but we got to deal with all this violence from all around the world. Why here?
We have a clearer picture today than we did even 2 days ago.
Investigators say this video shows 42-year-old suspect Shamsuddin Jabbar riding a bike around New Orleans' French Quarter in October, recording using Meta smart glasses. They add the Houston native visited New Orleans again in November. And in the hours before the attack, Jabbar is identified in surveillance video planting 2 homemade explosive devices in separate coolers, one on Bourbon Street just before 2 a.m., another half an hour later a block away. At 3:15 a.m., investigators say Jabbar swerved that rented pickup truck up Bourbon Street into a crowd. But the IEDs never detonated, the ATF says, because Jabbar didn't use the right device to set it off. Today marks the start of Mardi Gras season in New Orleans. The Super Bowl arrives next month. Officials are now facing questions about whether the city is prepared to keep either secure.
I have specifically requested through the White House that the city of New Orleans be assisted with getting a tactical expert in our city this week to map our city for target hardening measures.
And today, the White House upgraded New Orleans' threat rating for Mardi Gras to the highest possible, giving the city more resources from the Department of Homeland Security. In 2019, the city commissioned a report to review its safety vulnerabilities and found the French Quarter's security bollards were not fully functional. The replacement bollards have been under construction for years. The city's deadline was the Super Bowl. Christiane Cordero, ABC News, New Orleans.
Private well owners in Goliad can have their water tested. The Texas Well Owner Network is hosting a water screening event in Goliad on January 17th and 18th. You can drop off your water samples that morning at the AgriLife Extension or Groundwater Conservation District offices. For $15 per sample, they will test for bacteria, nitrates, and salinity. Then swing by the follow-up program on January 18th at the Julie Wimberly Memorial Homemaking Building to get the results and tips on improving water quality. Grab a sampling kit ahead of time from the local offices, and don't forget to follow the instructions. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell to receive alerts. Stay with us straight ahead on 25 News Now at 5. A new study links sugary drinks to hundreds of thousands of deaths each year. What experts are saying about the impact and how it affects health. Plus, whooping cough is on the rise across the U.S., why the numbers are growing, and what experts recommend. Welcome back. A new government survey finds higher fluoride levels in kids' urine are linked to lower IQ scores. The research was released in late 2024 by the National Toxicology Program, which studies chemical exposure. Fluoride, a mineral that protects tooth enamel, has been added to drinking water for decades. In September, the findings led a federal judge to call for stricter fluoride regulations. However, researchers say there's not enough data to know if current fluoride levels in drinking water affect kids' IQs. A new study links sugary drinks to 330,000 deaths each year from diabetes and heart disease, especially in Latin America and the Caribbean. Researchers say they cannot prove sugary drinks cause these diseases, but estimate their impact is significant. While alternative sweeteners might help, they're not the solution. Health experts stress the importance of staying hydrated to manage blood pressure, blood sugar, digestion, and more. Whooping cough is a respiratory illness that may start out like a cold, but the cough can last for weeks or months. And this disease continues to surge with the highest number of cases the U.S. has seen in years. Mandy Gaither has more in today's Health Minute.
It's a disease that's been surging for months. Now the CDC says whooping cough cases are the highest they've been in a decade in the U.S., with no signs of slowing down.
And what this bacteria does is it attaches to the cells that line the airways. They're called cilia, the sort of hair-like cells, and damages those cells and creates a tremendous cough.
There have been more than 33,400 cases reported this year through December 21st, according to preliminary CDC data. Early treatment with antibiotics may lessen the severity of the infection, but experts say this disease is also preventable through vaccination.
Prior to the 1940s, when vaccinations were not that common in the United States, about 9,000 kids would die per year in the United States.
In the U.S., the vaccine coverage rate that protects against whooping cough was just over 92% for the 2023-24 school year, a decrease from the year before, and coverage for all vaccines decreased in most states.
And as this rate drops, the level of infection in the community rises. And so far this year, we've seen about 6 times more whooping cough than we did last year.
Those at highest risk of getting severely sick include young children, those with certain medical conditions like asthma, and anyone with a weakened immune system.
We can vaccinate children, and we really need to get back to sort of a sane environment where parents are really taught that these childhood illnesses are unnecessary.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. The sun was nice, but that wind was cold. Right now, it's 49 degrees, feels like 44. Northerly winds are still on the brisk side, but as they calm down tonight, it's going to allow the temperature to plummet. We were at officially 33 this morning, got up to 51 this afternoon, obviously. Much colder than normal. We got no rain with that front. The skies will be clear. It'll be cold for a couple more mornings, and then the rain begins. We'll have all that coming up in a moment. We got quite a bit of weather to deal with. First of all, the alert day advisory still continues for tomorrow. And here's the problem from tonight through Friday. Pretty much all of the crossroads, unless you're along the water's edge. If you're Matagorda or maybe Calhoun County, maybe not as cold. But tonight, sub-freezing temperatures, 27 to 32 for about 4 or 5 hours. So that is going to be a hard frost, a killing frost, because most things that are susceptible to this will not be able to survive that. Here are the low temperatures for the next few days: 28 tonight, 34 by Wednesday, 34 on Thursday, and then we stay cold and relatively wet for the for the end of this week. So let's take a look at your satellite. You can see how the cold north air has cleared everything out. In fact, it's just blown all the moisture out to the Gulf. Meanwhile, up here we start seeing a little bit of snow and ice in southern New Mexico and far west Texas, and that is the beginning of what's going to be interesting for us as we get closer tonight. Just clear and cold. We're looking at a serious problem. We have a freeze warning up for Victoria County and all the way down into the Laredo area, down 59 all the way down there. And that's because this will be the coldest temperatures we've seen basically since last January. So yeah, hopefully you got the message and you've taken care of things that needed to be taken care of over the weekend. The cold front has been impressive. You know, we're used to cold fronts, right? But in northern Mexico, like Veracruz, southern, they don't get northern, they don't get fronts very many. But this one blew all the way down there. They're calling it El Norte. As you can see, right about here, we've got that north wind blowing, and the cloud deck is actually out over the Gulf. What's going to happen by the time we get to late Tuesday, beginning on Wednesday, we see the cloud deck rolling back in. Well, and when you take moist air and put it up on top of a cold surface, you get a precipitation, condensation. So we're going to be getting some very light rain. And you see these little pink spots here? That's a Wednesday, 6 in the morning, possible little icy conditions. Now, the ground is relatively warm right now, but so this may not stick. However, it may be an issue as we get closer to the week. Now, here's Wednesday at 6 p.m. You can see how we're socked in. We start picking up that light rain, and here's the big one. All right, what do you see there at 11 p.m. on Wednesday night? Icy road conditions from possibly San Antonio north to Austin all the way to Waco, and then north of Waco and Abilene, it's going to be snow. Dallas, probably 3 to 5 inches expected by the time we get to Thursday. And of course, as far south as Austin, they may have even 1 inch of snow on the ground. And this is Thursday. That's Wednesday night into Thursday morning. For us, it'll all be rain, wet, but very cold. And this is important to anybody that's driving northbound later this week. And all my truck drivers, you know, they go northbound, so they need to deal with this activity. If you go in the daytimes, your chances are better, but early in the morning and overnight, it's going to be a little on the slippery side. You got to be careful. Sunny skies tomorrow, but cold, getting down to 34 in Port Lavaca and only up to 52 in the daytime. Cuero, you're going to be colder than that, getting up to 52. So yeah, it may be sunny tomorrow, but bundle up. All right. Then we Wednesday night enter the sloppiness. The best rain will be on Thursday, or the biggest rain. Then Friday, a little weak front comes in and gives us just a little bit of clearing. But between now and then, we got quite a bit of weather rolling across Texas. That's your 7-day forecast. Reminding everybody, we do have this QR code. If you put that on your cell phone, I can send you all the warnings. And now we'll toss it back to Shawna.
All right, thanks a lot, Mac. Well, coming up next, Chick-fil-A makes a change to a fan favorite on the menu. Find out what will be different and why. Here's a look at Monday's closing numbers on Wall Street. The Dow is down 26 points. The S&P 500 is up 33 points. The Nasdaq is up 243 points, and oil is down 58 cents to $73.38 per barrel. Fubo's stock soared today after announcing a merger with Disney's Hulu Plus Live TV. The deal creates the second largest streaming pay TV provider with 6.2 million subscribers, trailing only YouTube TV. Disney will own 70% of Fubo with leave operations to Fubo's management. As part of the deal, Fubo will drop its lawsuit against Venue Sports and receive $220 million plus a $145 million loan from Disney through 2026. The merger does not include Hulu's subscription service. Chick-fil-A is making a change to one of its signature items. It's a new recipe for the chain's waffle potato fries. Officials say this adjustment will help keep the fries crispier for a longer period of time. According to a statement on the Chick-fil-A website, this new recipe does not have any major allergens, but it does include pea starch. U.S. Steel and Japan's Nippon Steel are suing after President Biden blocked Nippon's $14 billion bid to buy the American company, citing national security concerns. The companies accuse Biden of ignoring the law and trying to win union support. They're also suing the United Steelworkers and an Ohio-based rival, claiming they worked to derail the deal. The White House says national security experts flagged the sale as risky. Meanwhile, President-elect Donald Trump has also opposed the deal. Elon Musk is expanding his footprint. The billionaire entrepreneur will provide his Starlink Wi-Fi service to United Airlines. United will begin testing Starlink next month, and its first commercial flight with the service will launch this spring. Starlink will eventually be available on every United flight. Once Starlink is up and running, United's Mileage Plus members will have free access to Starlink. Then we'll give them access to streaming services, shopping, gaming, and other products. Well, stay with us. Up next, a tiny new arrival is making big waves at Virginia's Metro Richmond Zoo. The little one now has a name. Find out what it is and why this baby is extra special.
Coming up tonight, the deadly winter storm, multiple states. The images coming in at this hour, the middle of the country all the way east. More coming tonight. Also news coming in, the first human death from bird flu here in the U.S. And this important recall at this hour involving cold and flu medicine. We're next here.
A baby pygmy hippo born last month is blooming into the new year with a new name inspired by a flower. Meet Poppy. Like her mother Iris, the calf is also named after a flower. Virginia's Metro Richmond Zoo announced Poppy's new name after a poll drew more than 116,000 votes. Online voters had 3 other names to choose from. They were Juniper, which is an evergreen tree, as a nod to her birth in the wintertime. Hammy May, a tie to Ham in the state of Virginia where she was born. And Omi, which means water in the West African language. So she looks so cute.
I would have gone with Camellia, you know. She looks like a camellia to me.
I like Poppy. It also reminds me of Poppy from Trolls, which I think is cute too.
True. But her mom was named after a flower, so this is a delicate flower, a little hippo.
Yeah. Well, speaking of delicate flowers, we need to make sure that any plants that are susceptible to the cold are brought in tonight.
I trust you were probably doing that over the weekend, because I know I was. So tonight is the big one. Tonight we get down to about 28 degrees. And then tomorrow, while it'll be sunny, it'll still be on the chilly side, barely up to 50. And then it gets real sloppy here. We start picking up a light rain and cloud cover Wednesday. Thursday and Friday look very wet as a system comes overhead. We'll certainly have the latest for you, but we continue with our alert day forecasts right on through Friday.
All right. And also a reminder, anyone who needs a warm place to stay, whether homeless or just in between housing, those 3 warming centers are open tonight. So, well, thanks for being with us. Be sure to join us back here in 30 minutes after World News with David Muir.